Small stadium construction is one of the biggest trends in the American sports landscape today. These micro stadiums that hold less than 30,000 fans are popping up all across the US, from rural towns in the Midwest all the way to the megacities of New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. But why is this? What's the big deal with little stadiums? The first thing I want to establish is specifically what type of stadiums I'm talking about. Small high school and college stadiums are everywhere and are obviously going to just naturally keep popping up as our country grows. The real anomaly is the recent boom of pro soccer and minor league baseball parks in the last 15 or so years. Colleges and high schools will always have public funding and generous donations to fuel new projects, and most of the time they're pretty bare bones. Aluminum bleachers, a small press box, and maybe a concession stand if you're lucky. But for professional sports, it's historically been a major uphill battle to find funding to build high-end stadiums, even for well-established and highly profitable leagues. So why is it that these smaller, less stable leagues are the ones getting all the shiny new facilities with ease? Let's look at soccer first. The MLS currently has 24 teams where they are the primary tenant of their stadium. Out of those 24 stadiums, 16 of them were built since 2010, with another 3 in development to be finished in the next couple years. The other pro soccer leagues in the US tell the same story. The USL Championship has 6 stadiums in planning and construction, USL League 1 has 5, the MLS Next Pro League has 4, and the NWSL has 1 in Denver. So if you're doing the math, that adds up to 21 brand new pro soccer stadiums that we'll see built in just the next 4 or 5 years. The common conclusion to what's causing this construction boom is this: soccer is popular. Sure, maybe not as popular as football or basketball, but it's growing at a much faster rate. Millennials were probably the first generation in the US to grow up playing soccer, and Gen Z was pretty much the first generation to grow up as fans of professional soccer. Now with millennials starting to raise families and Zoomers finally getting some sort of disposable income, watching soccer matches in person is only growing higher in demand. So if we left it at that, we could end the video right there, if it weren't for the exact same thing happening to an aging sport. The MLB has the oldest fan base out of the 4 largest leagues in the country, and even though they're doing their best to convince kids baseball isn't the most boring sport known to man, that wouldn't explain why 28 brand new minor league stadiums have been built since 2010. And that's not even including the stadiums that have had major renovations since then. Let me remind you, minor league baseball is not really a particularly profitable venture for these major league teams to be investing in. They really just want to have a way to develop and maintain a deep arsenal of players in hopes that a select few of them will rise to the top and be an asset to them to put on a show where the money is really made. Minor league teams aren't getting the TV time, they're not getting major sponsorships, and you're not going to see someone wearing a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp hat in Japan like you'd see with a team like the Yankees. The minor leagues might only be an ounce of talent away from the MLB, but a mountain of money away from the culture of the next level. And that is exactly why I think there's such a high demand for small stadiums in today's sports landscape. Minor league baseball, and soccer for that matter, is all about the community the team represents. Where the big league's goals in building new facilities are to create a monument to the sport so breathtaking it catches the attention of the world, the minor leagues want to build a stadium that will bring the community together. And that's not just some hippy-dippy virtue that they're ascribed to. If the community doesn't support them, they're cooked, like horrendously. Nearly all of their money is derived from game day interactions. Ticket sales, merch, concessions, on-field advertisements. They don't get the luxury of a league-wide multi-billion-dollar media deal to fall back on if attendance is low for a year or two. Minor league teams live and die by the fans in the stands. So how do they make sure that stands are full week in and week out? If you could guarantee a high-quality show, it'd be pretty easy. That's why the highest attendance in any league, major or minor, is normally one of the best performing teams. But for these teams, you have to remember they don't have the absolute greatest players. Sure, there's the novelty of seeing a young phenom that's expected to make it to the top level soon, but other than that, the game is objectively going to be lower quality than what you'd see on TV in the Premier League or MLB. So you have to make it about more than just the sport. You're probably thinking right now of the theme nights and mascot races your local team might have at games, but I want you to think bigger. It was actually never about what's going on in the stadium. Dalton, what are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking luxury apartments. I'm talking bike trails. I'm talking Chipotle, which is next door to Urban Outfitters, which is next door to Panera Bread. That's right. The majority of these stadiums in the last 15 years were all built as part of a mixed-use development. These places are awesome. I mean, other than contributing to the gentrification of urban areas and creating even more obstacles for underprivileged people groups to overcome just to try and make ends meet, but other than that, they're pretty great. Honestly, not all of these developments are suburban nightmares. There tend to be a lot of good things that can come out of these projects. Etihad Park's master plan in New York includes 2,500 affordable housing units and a public school near the stadium. Detroit is revitalizing a site near downtown that was previously just an abandoned hospital. And even near my hometown is WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary. Sure, I went to watch a couple games here, but what I remember most is playing in rec league games all the time on the public fields that surround the stadium and cheering on my friends that had races at the park's cross-country course. And even for the stadiums built as standalone projects, their placement is very intentional to synergize with the environment it's getting dropped into. Like Equity Bank Park in Wichita and Centerview Bank Stadium in Rhode Island choosing scenic waterfront locations, or Iron District Stadium in Milwaukee and Duncan Park in Hartford becoming landmarks in downtown. So when projects like this work out the way they're supposed to, it's a symbiotic relationship. For the community, they get a fun place to hang out, shop, and live. For the surrounding businesses, they get paying customers. And for the team, they get butts and seats. It's kind of hard to do that with larger stadiums. Once you get to an MLB or NFL size stadium, its sheer size can actually make it hard for a lot of businesses to thrive nearby with the traffic and noise that comes with it on game days and concert nights. Some venues are able to manage it really well, like Wrigley Field and Fenway Park, but for most of the MLB and NFL, the stadiums get a beautiful surrounding community of gray parking lots. To make it even less practical, the upfront costs of building large stadiums are super high, along with insane maintenance costs just to keep it up and running. That makes it a lot less appealing to the public to support funding, and good luck trying to convince the billionaires that own these teams to spend their own money to fund it themselves. That's just crazy talk. Convincing a city or town to get behind a much cheaper and diverse project that will also boost the area's economy and livability, that's a lot easier of a sell. I, for one, am all for this trend continuing to build steam. I think it's a great idea to have more intimate sports venues. There's definitely a time and place for going to huge events and sharing an experience with 70,000 other people screaming their heads off, but we should also value the opportunity to watch sports in a closer setting, where we can all gather together as fans and trash talk players from the stands knowing full well they can hear every single word we yell at them. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.